Welcome back to Expo. Stay tuned. Mr. Ogunye and Dr. Erinosho are still here. Before we went on that break, we were talking to Chris. And incidentally, he's in Ife, where you made reference to earlier on. And Ife has a very high number of registered voters.
Yes.
And but he talked about high voter turnout, which was what I was going to ask before we took Chris, about the relationship between all these other things we've talked about, improved security, the drastic attack on voter inducement, and so on, and what you were making reference to as between voter turnout, all these other good things not translating into increased voter turnout. If what Chris witnessed in Ife is the same across the state, then this might actually be different.
Exactly. My surmise is that we have a combination of factors resulting in this kind of improved voters turnout. Between now and the last time we had a gubernatorial or governorship election in Osun State, for example, we've had 4 years in between. And so INEC continues to register new voters who I presume will be enthusiastic about voting, who are voting for the first time. They continue to give out PVCs, unlike the one before, which almost ended in a fiasco because there are tons and tons of PVCs
that nobody collected.
So in the past 4 years, I think that INEC has continued to work, and so that work, in my view, could have impacted on the voters' turnout. Number two is the issue of improved security that we've seen. If in the run-up to an election, we have a kind of a bloodbath, we have a kind of violence and all that, that could turn back the electorate. That could discourage a lot of people. Parents could warn their children who are younger not to go out and all that. And even the elderly could panic. And those who may wish to travel to their state from disparate parts of the country just because they want to vote may ask themselves, why do I need to travel to home to go and vote when they are killing people like this? I think that improved security, in my view, could also have added to it. And then the political atmosphere is very interesting. This time around. Yeah. And so since this is a culmination of all that we've seen in campaigns and all that, I think that people may just want to also participate in this. And so what has been interesting in this election, we've seen people breaking ranks from their parties, going to other emergency platforms to contest elections, and so on and so forth. And then we've seen those who have the big stakes coming in and then meeting and all that. So I think that the election is important to the people of Osun State, and for a number of reasons. I think that all this could have culminated in the kind of voters' participation that we are witnessing in this election.
Yeah, I also think there are two factors that one we need to keep an eye on, and the second one is something that maybe has also contributed to the high turnout. I believe that we have 48 political parties, 48 candidates. That has been very interesting, and that also tells a story in its own right. If you have two candidates, you are more likely to have a very fractious, campaign or even a election day, because it's almost like A versus B. But suddenly we have a situation where people have, the candidates have, Chris carpeted, and we don't even, in some cases, we don't know where their true allegiance lies. That has made the situation so blurry, so almost has smoothing out any potential fractious situations that we could have had. That's the first thing. But what we should really keep an eye on is the fact that, again, disruptions can be internal or external. And internally, we're doing absolutely fine right now. Osun people are, I think, relatively peaceful people. I'm partly from Osun.
You agree?
Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm biased. But I think whilst that is very important, later on in the day is where we should really, really keep an eye on, the movement of ballot boxes, the passing around, process. The counting process, the loitering of people that want to take advantage of, situations. That's where we should really keep an eye on. But again, as I said, Osun people are really peaceful people, and I hope
they'll keep this peace all the way.
Absolutely.
Isn't this where the electronic transfer? Because I remember hearing from INEC that they're going to put this into operation here, which is that once the votes are counted at the polling center, they're publicly announced, they are electronically transmitted to the collation center,
yes, yes.
right? To the portal through a collation to the collation center, and therefore you attempting to snatch either the ballot boxes and so on in transit may not really determine
the outcome as to swing whatever.
Yes.
I hope that they could really deploy that technology in this election. It will improve the credibility of the election, and it will improve the quality of this election if they're able to do that. But let me just quickly say this, that the early celebration we're having about this
election
comparative quietude that we're witnessing is important, because it's not just at the tail end of the election that you have disruption and violence.
It starts from.
Truly, you could have, violent responses to the results of election or outcome.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that when an election is going to be characterized by violence or marred by violence, it starts from the voting. Partisans and competitors will go into the strongholds of their opponents and go and sponsor mayhem there, disrupt elections, so that election results coming from there will be cancelled, and all that. So we've not seen that kind of thing. And so it's significant that since we've not witnessed that kind of widespread, large-scale violence, very early in the process, in the voting process, that momentum may be sustained throughout
the process,
up to collation and then the eventual announcement of the result.
We're now being joined by Seun Okibaloye, who is in Oshogbo. He's been reporting from Oshogbo. Seun, what's the update that you have from the state capital?
Thank you so much, Laddie. As you can see, it does look like the queue that we have had here for several hours have gone. That means they've exhausted all the voters who want to vote. The queue is gone. The line is reduced. You can just see people waiting on the sideline, and what they want to do is to see when the results are going to be counted. But let me show you what is happening on the other side of the polling center. The ballot boxes are filled. The ballots are in. They're waiting perhaps for the end of the voting era, which is 2 p.m. when the voting and the voting will end and the ballot will be counted. So you can see the ad hoc officials under this canopy, they're waiting for the moment when the ballot is going to be sorted and be counted. But so far, it's been so good here in the Salvation Army School in Alekuwodo in Oshogbo, the capital of Osun State. You can see just behind me, loads of the voters. Some of them had gone home and they come back. It's a densely populated area of Oshogbo. It's in the heart of town. So a lot of them, the house is just a few walk distance away, and so they go and come back. They're waiting for another 15 minutes or so when officially voting will end, and they will be able to cast, to know who is winning in this election. Maybe we can get a sense of what the security operatives are doing, Laddie, to give you a sense of what the analysis in the studio will look